Dan Bedante for TruthRadioShow.com. In today's special report, we're going to make you aware of the hidden dangers and poison being pushed upon you by your own state. And this happens all the time, folks. When spring rolls around, summer comes, they talk about the West Nile virus, they talk about killing weeds, and the city goes around with the truck spraying deadly chemicals all over your grass, the trees, the sidewalks and such. And it's the same chemical that you track in the house. This very same chemical, when you go to the department store to buy a thing called Roundup, a chemical called Roundup, to spray for weeds, to kill them and all that such. But there's an active ingredient in this Roundup, in this chemical that the cities and states spray, that causes a severe amount of deadly effects on human and animals. And we're going to get into that, but we're going to be joined in a few minutes by Midwest correspondent reporter James Stallings Jr., who's done a lot of research on this, folks. But before we get to him, I'm going to read you a couple articles from valuable sources here, and valid sources, I should say here, about Monsanto. Now, Monsanto is the one who developed this chemical called glyphosate. Glyphosate is the active chemical in Roundup, the active chemical being used in the chemical trucks being sprayed all over the country here. And they do this early in the morning or late at night when, you know, there's even a video of cops escorting and on loudspeakers tell everybody to stay indoors while we spray.
To minimize exposure to the pesticide, please go indoors immediately until the trucks have passed. The city is applying pesticide to reduce the threat of the West Nile virus. To minimize exposure to the pesticide.
And folks, you track it in the house, your animals track in the house, your kids go outside and play and track it in the house, and it causes a wide variety of dangers here, folks. And we got Mercola.com. They're reporting that Monsanto's Roundup herbicide may be the most important factor in development of autism and other chronic diseases. Now, the article goes on, it's a 6-page article here, but with all the details and facts, all scientifically proven, but the horrific truth about Roundup here. It causes autism, many allergies, cancer, Parkinson's disease, infertility, multiple sclerosis, cardiovascular diseases, gastrointestinal diseases, obesity, depression, Alzheimer's disease, and the ALS, known as Lou Gehrig's disease. I mean, it's a list. It's a toxic chemical brew, witch's brew of deadly chemicals. I mean, it's so bad, folks, at what they're doing, but they want to tell you, hey, vinegar, you know, if you use a regular household vinegar, it kills weeds just as good, if not better, without all the side effects. But, you know, don't take my word from it. You know, this is Mercola.com reporting this, and you got business and financial news here, Reuters.com reporting this. Heavy use of herbicide Roundup linked to health dangers, U.S. studies show. And we're just going to cover the highlights of these articles. You can research this for yourself, folks, because we got James Stallings Jr. joining us in a couple minutes here, and he's got the whole layout of what the stuff does. I'm just going over the articles of all the sources telling you how dangerous this Roundup is, and your city might have a different name for it, but if you ask for MSDS, it's the Material Safety Data Sheet. And I'm going to show you a couple clips of video here when I was following a truck a couple years ago in Cumberland, Rhode Island, and what I went through when I had to get the data shoot, and here's the video on that. It's August 24th, 2011. We're in Cumberland, Rhode Island. We got some city truck here spraying some chemical. This truck would move here. Now, as you can see, I mean, like, they openly spread. This is early in the morning, folks, and or late at night, either one. And but you got here Reuters again. Now, Reuters is reporting a heavy use of herbicide Roundup linked to health dangers U.S. studies show. And you go on to Scientific American now. They say weed whacking herbicides prove deadly to human cells, and this is disturbing. It says, used in houses, yards throughout the world, Roundup has been a long top-selling weed killer, but now researchers have found that one of Roundup's insert ingredients can kill human cells, particularly embryonic, placental, and umbilical cord cells. And again, this is our Scientific America reporting, and it goes on about the 100 million pounds are rapidly used on U.S. farms and soils and all over the country at that. And InfoWars also reports on this. Christina Sarich, she says, is Monsanto's Roundup glyphosate the new Agent Orange? Now, folks, back in Vietnam, Monsanto is the one who developed a chemical called Agent Orange. That's what they sprayed on the soldiers in the jungles to kill them off. Monsanto has been in the poison game for a long time. All the propaganda in the world can't erase the fact that they poisoned thousands of Vietnamese, Thai, and Koreans, as well as countless American soldiers with Agent Orange, who only now receive compensation for the effects of Monsanto biowarfare decades later. The proof is finally so pervasive that the company can no longer just sweep away evidence of their evil doing. It was our own government who did this, spraying. They colluded with Monsanto, one of the 9 government contractors who made the toxic combination called Agent Orange. I mean, it doesn't stop there, folks. I mean, this stuff is deadly. And you got another InfoWars article talking about Monsanto hides toxicity test results on Roundup, calling them chemical secrets. Now, I want to tell you people, on the InfoWars articles, I mean, they're reporting what they're learning from chemical studies and such. So on these InfoWars articles, when you go research them for yourself, there are hyperlinks that go right to the sources, the toxicology reports, the reports from mainstream media and such, and all the MSDS, the material safety data sheet, all the reports there. All InfoWars does is report the truth and show you the sources. That's what the good thing about InfoWars.com. And they even say that Monsanto's Roundup may be linked to fatal kidney disease, new studies suggest. And later on in this article is back in earlier this year, but they are now linking Roundup being linked to fatal kidney diseases with new studies showing. So, folks, there you have it. A lot of articles, a lot of sources where you yourself could go research this. And we'll be right back in just a second with our Midwest correspondent reporter, James Stolen Jr. And now we are joined by our Midwest correspondent reporter, James Stolen Jr. with this full in-depth report about these chemicals being sprayed by your local towns and cities all over your weeds and everything else on the sidewalks. And James, you want to give a breakdown of what is going on. And remember, we were the first Truth Radio show. We were the first to break the story to to everybody and cause major awareness of what's going on. And now they're taking protective measures because of when we broke the story, this hit viral. And James, you want to go on with the story here?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. And ladies and gentlemen, today's report is on endocrine disruptors. Endocrine disruptors are chemicals that at a certain dose can interfere with the endocrine or hormone system in mammals. These disruptions can cause cancerous tumors, birth defects, and other developmental disorders. Any system in the body controlled by hormones can be derailed by hormone disruptors. Specifically, endocrine disruptors may be associated with development of learning disabilities, severe attention deficit disorder, cognitive and brain developmental problems, deformations of the body, including limbs, breast cancer, prostate cancer, thyroid and other cancers, sexual development problems such as feminizing of males or masculine effects of females, and the critical period of development for most organisms is between the transition from fertilized egg into fully formed infant. As the cells begin to grow and differentiate, there are critical balances of hormones and protein changes that must occur. Therefore, a single dose of disrupting chemicals can do substantial damage to developing fetuses. The same dose may not significantly affect adult mothers. There have been controversies over endocrine disruptors. These endocrine disruptors, ladies and gentlemen, are being sprayed by your mosquito abatement trucks, by the obnoxious weed trucks, and they're chemically and biologically changing the human species with them.
And as I talked about in the reports I just went over, the articles and everything, and a list of dangers, and it's not even covered. I mean, I missed a lot of stuff at that. The reproductive system as well, and everything James just mentioned, including the bee population that he's going to talk about in a minute, whatever. The bee population being exterminated is all due because of this Roundup. And all this stuff started taking place when they started spraying this Monsanto byproduct called Roundup, the glyphosate, all over the country, and all over the yards and trees and everything else. And notice how, James, all this is coming to par now, the bees, everything else, everything you described is all now taking effect because this is rapidly going on?
Yeah, and if you look at the links I provided with you, the government admits in St. Louis in the 40s, driving around in vehicles that was converted to spray chemicals, isotopes, etc. So this has been an ongoing thing since the 40s.
Soon government agencies began treating even the suburbs with DDT.
They conceived it. They were, for example, complaining about mosquitoes, and if the spray truck came down the street, they were told to just stay indoors for a few minutes.
And if you look back at autism, mental retardation, homosexuality, birth defects, it can all be traced back to these chemicals. The videos that will be shown will show you that they drive through poor neighborhoods, specifically welfare apartments, and spray their vehicles. They've also been caught sneaking out of people's backyards, spraying around their houses, by train, by plane, helicopters. And it's not for bugs. It's not for weeds, ladies and gentlemen. If you're spraying for weeds, you don't spray it on top of the sidewalk because it's solid concrete. You don't spray it on the asphalt because it's asphalt. You have to spray areas where weeds are growing. And if you look, they're really not doing that on Dan's video or any of the other videos that I've provided for Dan to show you.
Well, I was following the truck there in Cumberland, Rhode Island a few years ago, and as I was following the truck, you could see the mist on my windshield, and I was having a hard time breathing, but my adrenaline was so pumped up because I wanted to pull these guys over and question them and that. And the guys up on the truck have no idea what they're spraying. Oh, it's just Roundup with no respirators and nothing, just spraying it everywhere, people walking by and everything without a care in the world. I mean, this is unreal.
It's unreal, but it's really happening, ladies and gentlemen. And if you pay close attention to the early morning hours, you will find trucks driving through your neighborhood spraying toxic chemicals. This is population control. This is the eugenics operation. And not only are they controlling the human species population, but they're controlling the animal population through the DNR and the Forestry Service by spraying them above water supplies for obnoxious weeds. They spray it around bees. The bees won't return to the colonies from previous years. That's a Harvard study, and the link is provided. And they know exactly what they're doing. This is eugenics at its finest. And you won't hear it anywhere else except here on this show.
Well, yeah, because, we were the first to break the story, and all this stuff that we talked about, we didn't get too much of it, but we were on our radio show talking about this several times, and we did a report for video, but on a radio show, we talked about all of this, folks. We said this was going to happen, the bee, just the animals in general, the people, but you got to take into account, folks, when these bees and animals touch the stuff, they bring it back to the nest or the hides or whatever you want to call it. People, kids, animals track it in the house, and you got newborns who play all over the floor, and they're they're putting the stuff in their mouth and it absorbs through the skin, folks, killing human cells, as with the reports show. I mean, the Scientific America has proven that. Toxicology reports from Mercola.com. I mean, it's just like tons and tons of sources that we're going to provide you through this film, folks. And this is a major threat. You need to get out to your legislators and let them know, hey, we're being poisoned. You got to go out to your the state departments of Department of Agriculture, whoever the department, I forget the department's name, that actually is in charge of taking care of the sidewalks and the maintenance and all that stuff. You need to let them know. Say, hey, listen, what you're spraying is dangerous. Look in your own material safety data sheet. It shows you. I did that here in Rhode Island, and that was about 3 years ago, and I have not once seen the truck since then. And I got people looking out, and again, they probably spray it some other way that we don't know about, but it shows since we broke this report, folks, this is now coming to par. I mean, again, you got police. James, you said there was police escorting this truck here?
Yeah, there's in the NYPD, on one of the videos that I found, actually have to escort the trucks through New York now because it's getting so much attention.
To minimize exposure to the pesticide, please go indoors immediately until the trucks have passed. The city is applying pesticide to reduce the threat of West Nile virus. To minimize exposure to the
People are waking up to this. And see, it's not like the planes at 30,000 feet spraying chemicals. These trucks you can go out and stop. You can get off your rear ends and you can go outside, just like I have, which they will call the law, and you can tell them, stop spraying me. This is endocrine disruptors. It's population control. This is the eugenics operation, and I will tell you exactly how they do it. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. First, it starts financially. When you go to Walmart, if you say you got a food stamp card or you're on a budget, you look for the best, cheapest products on your list because you don't have very much money. When you go into Walmart next time, I want you to look at the cheapest of any product and the most expensive of any product, and you will see that the cheap products have endocrine disruptors. It has other chemicals that interfere with your hormone system. Whereas people who can't afford to buy the natural, organic, expensive stuff, they don't take that. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're rich, they don't spray your neighborhoods. This is a middle to lower class program. You don't see this in Beverly Hills.
No,
you don't
no.
see this at the White House. This is only poor neighborhoods, working people, welfare recipients, and this is the way they're controlling you.
And if you want to kill weeds, folks, I mean, because a lot of people do grow gardens and have weeds grown, vinegar does just as good a job as Roundup without the side effects. Vinegar, the regular household vinegar you buy to put on your salad, it kills weeds. Type up on Google all the things that vinegar does, and killing weeds is one of them.
That's exactly right. So for them to spend the money to pay the drivers and to purchase the chemicals, they could just spray vinegar. You basically are paying for your own eugenics operation through taxes. The state mandates that the county sprays so much of these chemicals in neighborhoods.
Absolutely, and I'm gonna go over the list again. I mean, I'm just baffled. It's proved to kill deadly cells. It's basically the same stuff they used in Agent Orange back in Vietnam. I mean, again, it causes autism, gastro diseases, obesity, cardiovascular disease, depression, Alzheimer's, ALS, multiple sclerosis, infertility, cancer, allergies, Parkinson's disease, and not to mention, again, killing human cells, and also animal cells, and also the reproductive system. And it's also killing off the bee population, which is a major threat to our whole ecosystem.
That's exactly right. And they know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
These people funded Hitler. They put Hitler into power. Hitler did what the very same people that spraying you with the chemicals put Hitler into power, and he sprayed his people with chemicals and put chemicals in water, just That's how they do it. They put it in your water, they put it in your shots, you breathe it in, and you buy it through cheap products. And what is actually happening is you're overdosing on endocrine disruptors, just like any other chemical. If you take too much of it in, it causes all the effects that we just said. Mental retardation, autism. It feminizes males. That means it's causing homosexuality. This is derailing your endocrine system. It is a gender bender. But folks, you wake up to this, you go online, you do your research, and you go out and you stop it. Your kids won't be sick, they won't be suffering. Boom. That's how you handle it.
Now, James, you want to describe what these disruptors are to the public here?
Okay, the disruptors, they cause all of your health problems. They derail your endocrine system. It changes your sexuality. It causes mental retardation, autism, and other learning disabilities. All of the problems in society today, whether it be reading glasses for your children or just whatever, it's caused by this. It can all be traced back to these chemicals.
Absolutely, and it's just unreal. I mean, like we were describing earlier, it's bad enough that they're spraying the chemicals in the air, putting fluoride in our water, GMOs in our food, and now spraying your neighborhoods all over your front yard. Your kids are tracking this and breathing stuff in. I mean, what can we do? I mean, we've done enough. I mean, we really have waking a lot of people up about this, but what can we do to bring more awareness to the public to put a stop to this?
We can, by word of mouth, tell every one of our neighbors, just like I have here. A lot of my neighbors have woken up to this. I have people come up and thank me all the time for, going out and confronting these people. You have to call your county and tell them what they're doing. You have to call the Division of Natural Resources and tell them to quit spraying chemicals on your mountains above your water, because the chemicals are not evaporating. What happens is the rain carries it down to your drinking water. Then they add chemicals at the plant for your drinking water. Altogether, when you inhale, eat, and drink, and have inoculations with endocrine disruptors in it, you overdose. So my advice to everybody is, when you see these trucks, stop them. Go outside, tell them to stop spraying you. Print out endocrine disruptors from the internet, take it to your city council, take it to the state, stand up, and stop being so passive aggressive.
And also, by law, as you've seen in my video there, by law, they have to provide you with a material safety data sheet, the MSDS sheet. That's by law. Anything to do with chemicals in the public, anybody that's worked with chemicals on jobs, there always has to be an MSDS sheet posted of what the chemical is, what it does, the effects it has. So, I mean, the video I confronted them, they didn't have one. I had to actually call to the state, and they actually emailed me one, and right in there it says, yeah, it contains glyphosate, the active ingredient that causes all this, and right in their own report says it causes all this. So if they're only admitting, yeah, we're poisoning you. But hey, it's to take weeds away when vinegar could do the same job. But I mean, like, I'm just lost for words, because, like, this has been going on for how long, James?
Well, it started in St. Louis. I provided one of the links where it's been declassified that in St. Louis they converted trucks and station wagons to spray radioactive isotopes on people. See, they've passed laws saying that they can experiment on us legally, for one. But this has been going on for a very, very long time. A lot longer than a lot of people would like to admit it. I'm talking thousands of years, Dan.
It is, and yeah, you're right. Chemical warfare has been around for thousands of years, and then, again, so in the military, if people don't believe in population control, the military have MOSs for population control. the United Nations, and you just research Agenda 21, goes right to the United Nations website, right in Agenda 21 with the biodiversity plans and all that. They talk about depopulation. There's a book called Eco Science by John P. Holdren. That's Obama's science czar in the White House, openly admitting we need to depopulate the earth. Bill Gates in the 2010 TED conference meeting, he openly admitted, hey, they used the fraud with the global warming to reduce the CO2 on the planet. We need to reduce the population. To do that, we need to come up with newer vaccines. Now, mind you, the Gates Foundation is the #1 leading donators of vaccinations for third world countries. And so, James, I mean, you're seeing eugenics, like the eugenics from the 1930s, now called Agenda 21 with the new name now. You're just seeing history repeating itself. And as Edmund Burke quoted, folks, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And most people don't know history. Now you're seeing it being repeated. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It really is. And ladies and gentlemen, they're sneaking into your backyard with backpack sprayers. They're spraying around your window. This is so obvious to me, and it's kind of horrifying at the same time. What's even more horrifying is the people who are awake are afraid. They don't want to stand up. They don't want to stop it. That's what scares me the most. The part of your brain that makes you want to survive is being affected by this too. That's why everybody just wants to sit around and play video games and not care about what they eat. And this is all part of Agenda 21. These trucks can be forever known as Agenda 21 depopulation trucks because that's exactly what they are, Dan.
And you're right. I mean, you got the folks out there who sit around and do nothing. And again, another quote from Edmund Burke: the only thing evil needs to succeed is for good men to do. And, you know, I talk to people all the time. A lot of people are awake now. That people are there's more and more people becoming aware of things and getting mad about it. That's what we need to do, is get mad, like the movie Network, whatever. But to make people aware of this. But you still got some people say, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Again, what do you mean, what are you going to do? You going to sit there and let it happen? You know, let the evil succeed because you don't want to do nothing and get off your lazy ass? You know, I mean, we got to, as folks, I'm not saying we got to go out and destroy the trucks, because most of these people that spraying the chemicals, they're doing it with no respirators. They don't know what it is. They're just city workers. They're just spraying it like they're told to do so, and, you know, make them aware. Hey, listen, you should be wearing a respirator if you're going to be doing that job, but you shouldn't be doing it at all as even a city employee. And that's your town you're spraying that stuff in. Your state you're spraying that stuff in. And those of you who work in the city trucks and all that, you should be aware of this. You should put a stop to this. Oh, I'm just doing my job. But you know what? The soldiers in Nuremberg would, you know, just said the same thing in the Nuremberg trials. I mean, they said we were just following orders. That don't cut it, because you personally are killing hundreds of thousands of Americans on the slow death. I mean, millions actually over the years. But I mean, you know, you got to step up and say, hey, you know, I'm not doing this job no more. Make your bosses aware. Hey, listen, look, the toxicology reports, the MSDS, has shown, hey, it's causing deadly effects on the environment, not just the humans, but animals, bees, and so on. And I mean, again, the runoff, as James would explain, when it rains, it runs off into the drinking water, it gets into your crops. I mean, it causes a concoction of deadly effects. I mean, James, I mean, any more about this report that, I mean, like, that people are not aware of about this whole chemical inducing of the population?
Like I said, if you just keep your eyes open, if you look at where chemicals are being sprayed, at what they're actually doing, it will be apparent to you. Now, I have told the police, I have told the city council, I have called the county and told them, I have called everybody. And they know. The ones at the top know, because they're decompartmentalized. The ones at the top of the food chain know about the eugenics. They know it's hurting your children, and they're going along with it. They are making money off the suffering and the deaths of your loved ones, while you sit there and play video games and worry about football and baseball and basketball and somebody getting shot in the city. Hey, this is the important thing. This operation right here is causing all of your problems. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. These chemicals mess with your pineal gland, your third eye, your religious aspect. They are breeding religion out of us. They are changing our sexual preference. They are lowering our IQs. They are causing mental retardation, homosexuality. The list goes on and on and on. We would have to run a show for 3 or 4 hours for me to go through everything that these chemicals do. So get off of the sports. It's not important. These people are killing more than one black person at a time. If you are sitting there mad because a kid got killed in the inner city, wait till at night when they drive around spraying you with chemicals, because they're killing you all slowly. But you're not going to get mad over that. You know why? Because you're watching the TV. You ain't going to believe this. Even with all the video evidence and all the scientific evidence and all the hard work me and Dan has put into this, you still are not going to believe it. And it's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. You can do something. You can be the change. You don't wait for someone to come help you, and you don't wait for someone to come stop doing something wrong. You be the person that stops it. You be the change. You. It's up to you. Nobody else. No one's coming to save you, and no one's going to stop this. They are not going to deviate from their plan unless we stop them. And now you're running out of time. If they kill the bees off, you're going to have beans and rice, because ain't nothing going to pollinate. It's going to be just like a communist country.
And that, folks, that is the soft pedaling of this grim reality. I mean, there's a lot more, like James said here. We could be here for 6 hours or so talking about everything this stuff is doing. And yes, it's all the cause of these chemicals, folks. And I just want to send a message out. Thank you, James, for the great report and everything. And just stay right there, and I'll talk to you in a minute here. But folks, you know, especially you people who know this stuff, you working for the state stuff, you know this is going on. Let me tell you something. You think you have a place in this New World Order? Okay, there's bigger devils above you. And when they kill us all off, which they're not going to do, but if they kill us all off, folks, they're coming after you too. They're coming after your family. So remember, every time you authorize, you sign the checks to pay for these chemicals, you're killing your own kids too. You're killing your next generation too. And you think you have a place in this New World Order kingdom? Because again, you know, when they get through with us, they're coming after you too. So I don't think you have a place in that kingdom, folks. And like James says, you know, the only thing we could do is to stop this is you, the people, to become active, to become aware, and put a stop to this. Go to your town hall meetings, go to your congressional meetings, do everything you have to do, pick it outside the state departments. Okay, do everything you have to do to say, hey, people, wake up, we're being sprayed, we're being poisoned. And this is not even counting the chemical trails they're spraying every day, the fluoride in the water, just the GMOs being put in our foods and such. Folks, we are under attack, and this is an act of war, folks. When the government sprays chemicals upon you, especially without knowledge or consent, that is an act of war, folks. Then the Constitution says it is our duty and our right to take action when our government's not doing their job. Because, and it says about 4 enemies, foreign, domestic. We're dealing with the domestic enemy, folks, and foreign as well with the UN and such. So, folks, it's up to you. And remember, you are the resistance. And this is Dan Badandi and James Stolen. Thank you for joining us. And this is Dan Badandi for TruthRadioShow.com.
G'day guys, it's Billy here from losttreasure.com.au. Well, this is what you call a mobile chemtrail spraying unit. How's that, guys? Are into the chemtrails. Doing is spraying
It's August 24th, 2011. We're in Cumberland, Rhode Island. We got some city truck here spraying some chemical. truck would move here. Hey sir, what are you guys spraying? Huh? What's that chemical you spraying?
Certified for that.
No, what's the chemical you spraying?
Gas can.
Is that safe for the... Hey sir, what's that chemical you're spraying?
Roundup.
What does it do? You spraying Roundup? I'm a reporter, I need to know this stuff. What's that chemical you're spraying? Sir.
Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
I'll be right here. Hold on.
All right. But they won't let you say what's in there or anything, or?
Excuse me?
They won't let you discuss what's in there?
I'm not supposed to talk to the public.
How come? Well, I mean, these guys going around spraying chemicals. I mean, we need to know why and what's in these chemicals. Do you have a material safety data sheet on this?
I'll be right here to answer your question.
All right. The city of Cumberland. They go around spraying chemicals all over the sidewalks and everything else, and they're not telling me what it is. And the cops are right there now, so if you get a call, I'm on Mendon Road. All right. All right, thanks. Bye. Yep. So these guys can't discuss what kind of chemicals are in the truck? I mean, it's a safety concern because you got the general public breathing the stuff in. There's been a lot of people getting sick, and you guys can't discuss at all what's in these chemicals? I mean, I know you guys are not going around spraying water or nothing, but... So these guys can't discuss what kind of chemicals you're spraying? I mean, is that a public safety concern?
How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
Today.
Hi, I'm Dan Badandi of Truth Radio.
What?
I'm a reporter.
How you doing?
All right, and the camera's for my protection and this, but they're going around spraying the chemical here on the streets, and there's been a lot of reports of people getting sick off this stuff.
What?
A lot of reports of people getting sick off this stuff, and they're not discussed. And as public officials, they're supposed to display a material safety data sheet of what's in these chemicals, and they're not doing that. They're not even discussing what chemicals are being sprayed. And there's a big safety concern on behalf of the public, and that's what we're reporting here. And
who's bringing this to concern, you or the public?
me and the public, and I was representing.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Dan.
Is that what? And how can I help you?
I didn't call you. You know, when they pulled over.
They said that, just so I get this straight, one, that you came up to them and...
Yeah, I approached them when they pulled over here. I was following them with the camera. Because they're spraying tons of chemicals all over the streets, and I just simply asked them, what are they spraying? Yeah. They said we're not allowed to discuss that with the public, which should be a public concern as a citizen
why don't
yourself.
you call DOT directly and ask them?
They don't give no answers. They said we can't discuss any public official, anything with the public.
Okay. But you're not hindering them while they're driving?
Oh, no. I mean, I was behind them filming this, and when they pulled in, I pulled in quick because I asked the driver.
Just so you know, when you're
Yep.
behind them,
Yep.
you're not an emergency vehicle. And you
Oh
can't
no,
have
I
the
know that,
flashes
sir.
They have.
Yep, I know that, sir.
I'll be right with you.
Sure, thank you.
All right, sir. Any questions here?
All I ask is these guys what's in these chemicals. That's all I want to know. Why are they spraying? What's in these chemicals? And
It's common maintenance for the highway.
yeah, but we don't understand why they spraying chemicals that these things don't kill bugs. We detest on the stuff.
Just what you should do is DOT has
Department of
URI.
Yep.
Do the test
All right.
before the tanks go out. You can contact either one of those two. But these guys are workers here.
Oh, I
and-
understand that. And,
and
I didn't.
they're just doing their job.
Yeah, I told him I got it all on film. I told him I know you're doing your job, and we just need to know what's in these chemicals.
Right.
And as a
I
public,
have no problem with you doing the questioning
Yep.
and everything. Here's the issue. If it gets to the point that I think you're following these guys and causing a traffic hazard,
no, I'm more.
then
going
that
with the-
becomes a big deal.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
understand
I mean?
that.
Because it's bad enough that they're here, but they're in
Yeah.
a big white truck,
Yeah.
with flashing lights, and you're in a car that's not inspected. You know, no
Yeah.
hazard lights. you
Yeah.
know, Okay. So.
All right. No, I mean
think
like,
it's
yeah.
time to wrap it up and call it a day. But do you know how to contact URI?
Michael looked that
URI,
up.
DEM,
Who am I?
and they're
Yep.
the ones that test the tank.
University of Rhode
Everything
Island?
they showed me looks legit, so I'm good.
No, I mean what
Okay.
I'm saying is, we're on the public concern. Why are they spraying chemicals? What's in these chemicals, and what do they do?
They're normal maintenance.
And for what though?
For the highway. Other than that, it just overgrows and does. You know, they have to take care of our highways. That's what we pay them for.
Yeah, but what's in these chemicals?
All
That's
right.
the concern.
Enough. Okay, I'm not going to go through a chemical breakdown with you because I don't know.
Yeah, but as
Okay?
public officials,
Let's
they
call
have
that
to
a
display
day.
a material safety data sheet. That's the law,
You guys
sir.
all set? Ready to start.